Well, hello. I want to welcome you to another exciting episode of Pens in Use. This is the show where I look at the pens I'm using this week, some of the inks, and just generally compare a lot of pens and inks all at once. If this is the kind of content that interests you, please feel free to subscribe below. This week, some of what I'll be looking at are some, let's call them Middle European pens that are less common. Is there a collecting interest that you have? So we'll talk about all this and more. So the pens I have in use this week are kind of a diverse collection. I was actually sent two of these by a pen pal who asked to remain anonymous, so we'll just say he lives in Europe, so I'll show you the pens. So from left to right, I have a Parker Slimfold, I have a Wahl-Eversharp Skyliner 50, I have modern version, I have a Lamy 2000, which is always my daily writer, Aurora Style, which is running towards empty, but she'll go for another week, Pilot Custom 823, which it was pointed out to me is quite a bit larger than the Aurora 88 right next to it, which I hadn't really thought about, but yeah, that's a long pen. I have a Stypen up, I have a Centropen 10014, and I have a Garant Silka, which is an East German pen, so Czechoslovakian East German, and this is actually a French pen. So let's take a look at how these pens write. As always, I'm writing in my Bomo art journal, a nice Hungarian notebook made in Budapest, Hungary, and I will be filming a review of that soon, hopefully this weekend, but when it will get uploaded, you know, who knows. So the first pen I have in use this week is the one that was sent to me by a pen pal and viewer from, as I said, Europe. He wishes to remain anonymous, so Europe's a big continent with lots of countries, so I think that's safe. This is a Parker Slimfold. He told me this would be a good chance to experience what a dual fold nib is like. I do actually own a dual fold. It's not down here. I haven't inked it up in a while. It's an older one. Doesn't look anything like its modern incarnation, but you'll be seeing it. I noticed that it has a little bit of writing on it. You know, Parker Slimfold, and then it's made in England. That's about it. You know, a little bit of design on the trim ring, arrow, and looks like the finial disappeared at some point. And the nib in question. And this is an aerometric filler, just says Parker 14K England, and a number 5. So this is a Parker Slimfold. Has a little bit of flex to it. A little bit of feedback, which I actually like. It's one of those, not a black pen, but one of those slim plain pens that I really like. Not that I don't like some fancy pens too, don't get me wrong. I've got my eye on a Maquis pen that I can't afford that has squirrels on it. Yes, squirrels and grapes, it's a platinum. Doubt I'll be buying it, but I like it. Waka-uguisu. So if I remember correctly, this means green tea, which I don't know, I'm not a tea drinker, I'm a coffee drinker. I'll drink tea mostly when I'm sick, which sounds strange. But yeah, so, you know, just a nice slim, well, not black, it's green, but nice slim pen. A very nice writer. In fact, I have several vintage Parkers to review. Two of them were actually sent by a viewer from Wisconsin, who lives near Janesville and has access to a lot of Parkers. So look forward to that sometime. I'm trying to mix and match my reviews around. You know, part of the fun of this, in my opinion, of course, is that you get to see a big wide variety of pens, from low cost to high cost, well, high cost for me, low cost to high cost, vintage and modern. A little bit of everything. What the heck? Let's have fun with this channel. This next pen is actually going to be the subject of a re-review. Surprisingly, it's a Survivor pen. This is a Wahl-Eversharp Skyliner 50, which is a remake of an older pen. Rather attractive nib, I think. It has a little bit of flex to it. One thing I don't like is the converter. You can't, it has a converter, you access it up here, but I can't actually see the ink level in there, so annoying. And you can see a little bit of flex there. I like what Wahl-Eversharp has been doing. They've really been bringing back some old models and hopefully forging, some new manufacturing methods at the same time, and hopefully forging ahead with the right combination of both old and new. As I remember, I need to look this up, but I think these only came in one nib size. My ink here is KWZ, which is a Polish brand. Menthol green. That's an ink that I was actually sent by accident. The retailer, I ordered a KWZ Iron Gall Violet, and as soon as I opened the bottle, I'm like, no, that is really not violet. But the retailer was very good about replacing it for me, so. And I like this color. They said, hey, keep the bottle. It's easier for you just to keep it than to send it back a bottle that has the wrong label on it anyway. The next pen is my always in use Lamy 2000. I will be using it at several meetings this week, quite heavily. Also, I've been working on my novel, mostly with this one. I'm trying to write a little of my rewrite and then type it, because I have changed a lot, and that's probably something I should talk about one of these days. The ink in it is Lamy Black. I had a question a while back what I recommend for a black, and they'd seen my use of Aurora Black, which is a great black. I'd actually considered that one. I'll tell you the reason I went with Lamy Black. In fact, I'm going to rearrange my order of pens here so I can put them side by side. But the whole reason I went with Lamy Black is because it was a little bit better behaved on lower quality paper. I liked Aurora Black a lot. In fact, emotionally, I wanted to give it the edge. So since I have Aurora Black in my Aurora 88, which this time it hasn't been re-inked this week, so I guess that whole excitement is starting to wear down. This is not a pen that will be going to my meeting, any of them, but I'm using it at home. In fact, this one has done more than its share of novel writing. But my Aurora 88, my unbelievable splurge pen with the flex nib. No, the vintage one is not inked up this week. I'm actually, if I hadn't gotten these those last two pens that you'll see at the end of this list, I actually planned on inking up a Columbus 65 this week, which is similar to the Aurora 88. Very, very nice pen. And just made me more hungry to get a vintage one. But anyway, this is Aurora 88 with Aurora Black in it. And as the ink dries here, you can see, part of this is the pen. When you use a flex pen, it's going to lay down more ink. So that's why it's taking longer to dry. I really didn't object too much to Aurora's dry time. You can see it's definitely a blacker black than Lamy Black. But like I said, it was the behavior on the lower cost paper that really gave the edge to the Lamy. So hopefully I remember I went out of order there. We'll put another Aurora next to it, even though this wasn't the order that I originally showed you. This is running low. Appeared in some letters this week and some other things. This is my Aurora style. It's just, it's a plain pen. It's at Aurora's lower cost end of things. Very attractive in a sort of minimalist way. Broad nib, not with that humongous blob of tipping. You might expect it to be a little bit broader, but I like how it writes. This also has KWZ ink in it. Oops, it's a broad. Forgot to write that. This is KWZ Brownish Pink, which is Sort of an odd combination, but it's an attractive ink. I like it going down. It's an attractive color, and after it dries, it's more of a dusky color thing. Not an artist. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, that sounded bad. Nobody take me out of context there. I don't know what I'm talking about with color. Next pen is my beloved Pilot 8 Custom 823. This is my first nice pen. I've had it for over 5 years now. Just over 5 years. It's amazing how the time flies. I write, and it becomes a daily writer a lot in the summer. In the winter, I use the Lamy 2000. I'll take this to school. I mean, I used to a lot. It's, actually, I was correcting papers with it recently. Which reminds me, school, I have some papers I have to correct yet, so maybe I'll get some use. With a bright ink like this, I tend not to use up real quickly because it's bright. I like the color. I mean, that's pretty. But has rather limited utility. But this is KWZ Grapefruit. KWZ just has several interesting colors. And I have barely scratched the surface of the KWZ brand. But I've been forced to acknowledge that, hey, you're just not going to buy all these pens and inks you want. You won't have a use for them. My next pen is a review I'll be filming this week. This is a Stypen Up. Stypen is a French manufacturer. They were purchased by Bic in 2004. What makes this pen unique? Oops. Well, with the craze for the Boston safety pen right now, you might think this is a safety pen because the nib, came out where I didn't expect it to. The nib is retractable when I twist this knob back here. Except it's not a safety pen, it's just a pen with a retractable nib. I bought this way back when I was considering buying a Lamy Dialogue 3. This was wrong brand. This was a much lower cost, to be fair. The ink in this, the nib I believe is a medium. I think they all are, but I don't know that for certain, so we'll just go with that. The ink in it is Diamine. I was told how to pronounce it. Diamine Ancient Copper, which is a gorgeous color. My trouble with it is it crusts up. And on this pen, oh baby, by tomorrow we'll have crust galore. And the pen won't write. Something I will bring up in the review, but that's partly a function of this specific ink working with this specific pen. You saw my Centropen. It would probably be empty now, except I was writing with my two new toys that I was sent by the viewer that you're about to see. The other one. This is a Czechoslovakian pen. Very nice material. It's the same as on my much more expensive Centropen, but the nib on this one is just steel. I put a lubricating ink in it, mostly to help the piston out. The ink is Noodler's Purple Heart. I enjoy, and that's why these last two pens are here, two of the things I enjoy are some of these less common brands like Centropen. To U.S. audiences, obviously. If you live in the Czech Republic, you probably have heard of Centropen, just guessing. Is it called Slovak Republic? I can't remember. Slovakia? Drawn a blank right at this moment, which is awkward. I'll put a correction below. But anyway, if you live there, you probably have heard of Centropen also. Anyway, nice pen. It's just not up to the level of my other one. So to a U.S. audience, very uncommon brand. And I like those. I also enjoy very minimalist slim black pens, especially from the 60s and 70s and 50s. I need to do some research to find out where this one falls. But this is a Garant Silka, which is an East German make. It is a piston filler. You can see I've done more than its fair share of writing. The nib. No, this is just an ordinary steel nib. Writes well, just nothing, you know, too amazing. So this is a Garant Silka. I don't know where you were when the Berlin Wall fell. I was in 8th grade, and I remember watching it on the news. So this is kind of an East meets West thing here, because the ink I have in this East German pen is from what was a West German manufacturer, Lamy. So I have Lamy Turquoise ink in here. So those are the pens I have in use this week. I was nervous starting this video out. I cut my mouth, the upper part of my mouth, on supper, and yeah, I looked like I was a vampire and had been feasting. So I'm filming this a little later than planned, and if I'm sounding funny, it's because my tongue is hitting that part of my mouth that's cut every time I make a T sound. Anyway, these are the pens I have in use. I hope weather's warm for you. It's warmed up for me. Over the weekend, we got some nights around -20 Fahrenheit. Yay. But it is warmed up. We've had much warmer days since then. I had filmed some video footage over the weekend, and I was going to put it here, but I'm trying to decide if I want to make it more standalone. I just took some video footage around where I work, and then I walked downtown again, because I do that. So we'll see. That'll probably pop up at some point. Anyway, so these are the pens in use. If videos like this where we look at fountain pens, vintage and new and at all price points, interest you, please subscribe below. If you have a particular collecting interest, such as my interest in less common brands or those slim black pens, feel free to comment about that below as well. So as always, I thank you for watching. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.